Well, a top Republican senator now offering to help Donald Trump develop his foreign policy plan. Senate Foreign Relations Committee Chairman Bob Corker is saying that Trump's platform shows flexibility and signs of realism, and that his campaign is starting to develop concrete policies. Here's Trump at a rally in Oregon.
I couldn't stand watching the Iran deal. I couldn't stand us getting pushed around by ISIS. I couldn't stand when I look at our military. I couldn't stand looking at the worst trade deals. The dumbest people in the world are making the worst trade deals, and you're a big beneficiary of that stupidity.
All right, joining us now, Sebastian Gorka, Distinguished Chair of Military Theory at Marine Corps University. He's also the author of Defeating Jihad. Welcome, sir. It's great to have you on the program today. Thanks for joining us.
Great to be back, Uma. Thank you.
I want to get your reaction to the news that Senator Corker is offering to help school Donald Trump in the art of foreign policy. What do you think about this proposal, and do you think that Mr. Trump would be a willing student?
Well, for full disclosure, I am not on Mr. Trump's campaign, but he did reach out to me last year before anybody took him seriously, and we met a few times to discuss national security. So there's definitely interest there. But he has a long way to go. He's got a lot to learn. He gave his first foreign policy speech just 10 days ago here in Washington. It was very different from every other speech he gave. He actually read it off a teleprompter, which is very unusual for him. And it did show the signs of some solidification of some kind of national security platform, but it was all over the place as well. It had some contradictory things in it about our allies, about commitments to our friends, and then it had some very disturbing things about our possible friendships and shared interests with Russia and China. So, yeah, I'm glad he is looking to develop his policies. It's very nice of Senator Corker to assist him, but he has a long way to go, Uma.
In your meetings with Mr. Trump, did you find him to be very open to listening to different points of view?
He was very curious. He definitely has his own opinion on issues. I think it sounded to me as if he'd like to read historical military things, especially about the Civil War. So he has an interest, but I also think he has some certain ideas that are preconceived, especially with regards to the Middle East and to our allies. And I think now that he's announced his team about 2 weeks ago with some great names, Waleed Faris. I'm a huge fan of him. He's his Middle East expert. So hopefully now he has the people around him who can help him solidify and crystallize his policies.
I know you had some concerns about some of the statements made in that foreign policy speech that he gave recently about friendship and shared interests with Russia and China. Can you elaborate on that?
Yes, so if you have a broad historic sense, you will understand that even if Putin says he's killing terrorists, or even if China says they're fighting the Uyghur nationalists, that doesn't mean they're on our side. Putin is a former KGB colonel. He's a thug. He's a vicious man. He runs a country in which journalists get murdered if they disagree with the Kremlin. China is the world's last great communist dictatorship. You know, it may be running around doing quasi-capitalist things, but it is a one-party state. And to say we have shared interests, no, Mr. Trump, we don't. And we should really stick to the friends we already have. That's something that has been very, very negatively affected by the Obama administration, and that's something that Mr. Trump could fix if he ever became president.
For our viewers, we're letting folks know that we are awaiting remarks from Donald Trump at this rally that he's attending right now in Spokane, Washington. And as I see, he's about to speak there. Dr. Gorka, really quickly, in summing up, do you think his foreign policy approach would be markedly different than what we've had over the past 7.5 years?
As I've said before, if the White House chair were empty, it would be a giant improvement. We have had a catastrophic foreign policy everywhere you look in the world. Asia, Africa, the Middle East, Europe. It is a disaster. So anybody except Hillary would be an improvement.
And would you expect to see some further immediate resolutions to our policy in Syria?
I think so. I think this is what do we know about Donald Trump? He likes to win, so he would go up against our enemies, especially ISIS, to win. So I would expect he has to work with Congress, but I would expect some significant changes if he becomes the commander-in-chief.
All right, Sebastian Gorka, always a pleasure to have you on the program. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Uma.